Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood. I'm Dave Martin, the owner of Martin's Auto Repair in Central Phoenix.
I'm Glen Hayward, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And I'm Lee Weatherby with Accurate Automotive in the heart of Mesa.
And together, we represent 140 years of combined automotive experience.
Our goal is to change the perception of our auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and underneath the hood.
And we hope to share with you what it's like to own a small business and give you a perspective from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started. Good morning, guys.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave. Morning, Lee.
Morning, sir. How are you doing?
Hey.
Sir.
Yeah.
I take that personally.
You know what? You just got back from vacation.
Either you
and
really
I gotta
look
be
up
honest,
to me
I'm
or
jealous.
you're giving my age away. I'm not sure what you're doing here.
He didn't call you old guy.
That's right. Well, we know the truth, though.
So,
And the truth will set you free.
There we go.
yeah, we know he's old. Well,
Act your age.
hey, guys,
Not
Guess
your
what?
IQ.
are you guys done?
Yeah.
No.
We're having too much fun, Dave.
Jeez.
Did you want to
Never.
talk?
Well, I just want to tell you guys what
You're
this
behind,
podcast is
Dave.
about.
Come on, catch up.
You know what? I'm a little slow. It's taking me a little time. So today is going to be a great topic. I love this topic because it's near and dear to my heart.
Do tell.
It's DVIs,
DVI.
Oh, beautiful.
and it does stand for Dave's Very Intelligent.
Deeply vacated intelligence. No?
I'm out. I can't do that podcast.
I'm carrying the show here. Let's just keep going, man. Come on.
All right.
I got your back, Lee.
I love it.
So
That's his best side, by the way.
that's my best side.
You know what? I always like this side. That's why I sit on this side. Because you know what? You are one handsome man, Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm trying to get him to put a mirror up there
Yeah.
so I can look at myself do the podcast.
Yeah.
Is that why it says intelligent over
You
there?
Yeah.
He
Intelligent.
even polished his skull. I mean, it
I
looks
did,
good.
I did.
Yeah, that's-
So,
We've
all right,
gotten
so-
way off track.
where do you get head wax from?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
So other than Dave's Very Intelligent, what do you think DVI stands for?
I'm going to assume, just a big one, that is digital vehicle inspections, which is near and dear to my heart.
Near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I would have to concur with Lee. It's a digital.
Okay, so two
Visual
to one,
inspection.
I lose. All right.
Well, and the best part about them, the truth of the matter is, I think digital vehicle inspections, or DVIs, as we refer to them, sometimes they get mislabeled. Sometimes people think, oh, that's just an opportunity for you to, check my car and sell me something or do something of that nature. When in reality, it is exactly the opposite. I look at it as this is the tool that actually puts the consumer in control, you know what I mean, of them being able to establish what and when and how they want to maintain and take care of their vehicle and spend their money.
Yeah, there's two adages that go along with that. Seeing is believing.
Yeah.
And Eastman Kodak used to say, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
No question.
So it takes the sales pitch out of everything. Here's the picture of this thing that we found, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
And they see it for themselves,
And the truth is, people don't know what they don't know.
Right.
That's why these pictures are so vital.
Exactly. You're talking about parts that they never heard of.
That's right.
And parts, pictures are worth 1,000 words. And you said it, Lee. It's 100%. I'll never forget the first time that one of my techs came into my shop or came into my office. I was, at that time, this has been a long time ago. And I was helping service right at the time. And he come in and he said, the motor mount's leaking. And I said, I'm drug testing everybody in the shop. I am drug testing everybody.
That's like the muffler bearings are bad, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, come on. Seriously, now you're just messing with me, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to call a customer and tell them their motor mount's leaking. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And they go, no, I'm serious. So I went out there and I looked at it. And this was kind of back before we were doing the digital vehicle inspections a long time ago. And I looked at it and I go, holy crud, he's right.
Yeah.
It is leaking.
Liquid
filled bounce.
makes a softer cushion.
Absolutely.
Makes the cushion softer.
So we're in a digital age now where we can, and you said that in the very beginning, is we're giving the customer the opportunity to put them in control.
You bet.
Because how many times have you ever, back in the day before we had this, how many times did you call a customer up and go, you need to come down. I need to show this to you.
Yeah.
So we'd drag them in the shop and we'd show them, visually. But
bet.
now we don't have to waste their time. We can send them we can send them a little video, we can send them a picture, and that customer can get an idea of exactly what we're talking about.
They're not just still pictures. We can actually take a little movie, and
You bet.
if you got a loose ball joint and you're going up and down, you see the whole spindle going up and down on the frame. It's like, whoa.
See, these are
Wondering
these,
what that noise was.
Oh, you bet. Well, here's the
you
thing. If you really break this down, we have fleet managers, you know what I mean, that are absolutely relying on the input that we give them on, these DVIs.
Yeah, management companies, and they're 1,000 miles away or 2,000 miles away.
Absolutely. But the key to it is now they can be right there in the room or in the bay with us, so to speak, you know what I mean, to be able to see, wow, this is really makes sense to do this. This is why we're going to go ahead and pursue this. This is why we're going to spend the money now. And it makes sense. And here it makes the whole, like you say, the buying experience much easier, but it also makes the owning experience so much better, because now, you can have the confidence, man, my car is, back in shape and I just didn't know,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, listen, we have crazy roads out here. You know what I mean? They always seem to be torn up, and they're fantastic. I mean, I don't want to discredit anything. We're very fortunate. You drive other places, you find, they're not quite as smooth, but there's always construction going on somewhere. You know what I mean? And that means our cars are just absolutely taking a beating. And from the suspension to the engines to the transmissions to the heat that we experience outside, the tires,
brakes,
everything. It's being used, and that is what
their
a car is
conditioning
designed
systems.
for.
They're running, 360 days a year here.
Yeah.
Well, and here's another thing, guys, is, everything can kind of be subjective.
Yeah.
So when your technician comes in and says there's a leak, well, when you have the picture, if it's a seep, if it's a leak, or if it's a really, really bad leak.
It's pouring.
And well, the interesting thing is, let's stop there for just a quick second, because you bring up a really great point. What is the difference in a seep and a leak? Because that is one of the most I would say annoying, but it's very subjective, because, in some cases, you don't want to report to a client that you've got a leak when really what they're seeing is the beginnings, or a seep, as we call it. But seeps, we all know, they may be there for the remainder or the life of the vehicle without ever turning into a leak. A leak actually is something that creates a drip or something that touches the ground. A seep is something that is basically surrounding an area. It's much like when you're running and you stop and you see the sweat bead up on your forearms or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily drip. Well, that's a seep. A leak is when you stop and you bend over and it's just dripping off your head onto the ground. Boy, you're leaking.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too is aside from that is the digital vehicle inspections give us an opportunity to kind of eliminate a lot of the human element.
Oh, no,
we're all humans. Let's face it. We have processes, and we for years we've tried to get our technicians and our people that work for us, and we got really good people, and I'm not bagging on anybody, just so you know, is that we try to get them to follow a process to look over that whole car, because we're human. We might miss something. So when you've got that digital vehicle inspection, you're following that process. And once that process is being followed, I can see when a tech brings it in here, he missed something on there, because I'm going to go, okay, so what about the transmission fluid, or what about the oil, or what about the suspension, what about the brakes? And if we miss something, we have an opportunity to correct that and go back and make sure that is looked at and inspected properly, so the customer gets a full picture of what kind of condition their vehicle's in.
Right. And the challenge for us as technicians, even as owners, is that many of these systems now are sealed where there's no dipstick, there's no anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even for the engine oil.
Right.
It's metered by sensors inside, internal sensors, or it's monitored by mileage. And they're assuming the car is never going to burn any oil or anything or have a leak. And all of a sudden you come in, you got an engine that's locked up. Well, I never saw a light come on. Maybe not, so it makes it a little bit more challenging for the technicians to have to take out a bolt or do something, take out a plug somewhere to get a sample of the transmission fluid. Because if we have no data from previous visits, it's a first-time customer, the car's got 70, 80,000 miles on it or more, and we know quite probably that no one else has taken the time to open up a plug and stick a tool in there, a dipstick of sorts, go in there and get a sample of the fluid and know what it looks like. And if they don't have any records of it having ever been done, we're trying to protect them from a catastrophic failure, because of the complexity of engines and transmissions and the many items that they have to, that are rotating now inside of an engine that didn't used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Cam phasers and 9-speed transmissions, 10-speed transmissions, shifting so many more times, thousands of times a year, tens of thousands of times more a year than a 3-speed or a 4-speed or 5-speed transmission. So these fluids and the filters and the solenoids and everything can take a real beating if those fluids aren't changed. And so the digital inspection gives us an opportunity to take a sample of those fluids, put them on a tray, which is white, show them what the color is supposed to look like versus what theirs looks like. And that way, it's a little bit more convincing, both for us and for them, that fluid needs to be changed before something bad occurs, which will cost them thousands and thousands of dollars.
You bet. I like, and I think this was covered in a previous podcast, but it allows us to really be the professional. Yep. It allows us to become the professional that they're expecting and give them the kind of service that they're expecting. Yeah. Because the truth of the matter is, just to both of your points, whenever we have a chance to really evaluate and go over, we have a chance to become better ourselves. Number one, what about the spare tire? How many times have people called and said, hey, did you check my spare tire? Or what about my blinker? Or, I've got something where the headlight will flicker every now and then. And the key to it is you may not get that on the first go round, you know what I mean? But as soon as you have a little tip or you take it for a test drive during the inspection and you're looking at it and somebody goes and gives it a little Fonzie, you know what I mean? Gives a little thing and all of a sudden you see it and you go, oh my. And then it allows for us, you know what I mean? Because let's face it, as silly as we think about it, a blinker, safety item, something that needs to be addressed so that we can alert other drivers.
What kills me is that most people don't use theirs anymore. 75% of people, I drive behind people or I see people turning, they just slam on their brakes and take a turn. You didn't know they were turning. I think a lot of accidents occur for just people's negligence of using the tools that have been on cars since the 1930s. They've had blinkers on cars.
And you don't want to stick your arm out, because somebody will take that off too. Yeah. So you can't do that either. But to your guys, to what we're talking about here is it gives us the ability to look at the small stuff that later on could either cost you a lot of money down the road, a breakdown, or cost you time, money, or cost you something more than that.
It could save you thousands, though, over the course of the life of that vehicle.
The simple. And you know what? I'm not bagging on the quick oil change places or anything, but I'm going to tell you this. The thing of it is if you've got a fairly new car and you go to those quick lane places, okay, fine. But if you have an older car that's got a few miles on it, maybe got a few years on it, you want to make sure that somebody is got your back and is going to be your advocate and show you what kind of condition that vehicle's in.
You bet.
Because we're all busy. Let's face it, we're on the road all the time. I know
cars are tools.
I'm in and out of my van 10 times a day.
Yeah.
And I just you want to make sure that vehicle is going to start, going to run, and not going to give you any problems when you're going to pick up your kids from the school or soccer practice or going to work or whatever you got to do. And we're all got busy lives. And that's why this digital vehicle inspection, when I first saw it, I'm like, holy moly, we have got something here. This is gold. This is liquid gold right here.
See, and I believe in the digital vehicle inspection to the point where we require every vehicle that comes through, and I don't care if it was there a week ago, to get an inspection based on the simple things that you just said. We're all busy. We're all continually driving our cars. You're using your vehicle, sometimes 10, 12 times a day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're in and out of it. But the key to it is this. You know what? It really helps to build the relationships with our customers if we can literally build a timeline. Because remember, we've now discussed with them, asked them, what would you like from your vehicle? Where would you like this to take you? Do you want it to go another week, another month, another few years? And if so, let's build a plan and a profile for us to be able to get there. To your point with all the fluids and stuff like that are wearing out on a very consistent basis. You know what I mean? How often should those be exchanged? You know what I mean? And what will help prolong and preserve the life of those, pieces? It really, really is a vital piece of equipment that we have in our toolbox to be able to assist and serve our clients in the manner that they're expecting.
Right, and the list of things that gets done on a digital inspection includes load testing the battery.
Absolutely.
We all agree that we're selling 2 or 3 times more batteries than we did 5 years ago?
You bet. But you know what? How many people are we preventing from being broke down?
Well, and you brought up a really good point with the battery. What about the elements, guys?
Yes.
What about the elements? We're in Phoenix, Arizona. It is hot. No, you're in Tempe and Mesa, but I mean, we're in Arizona, period. And it's hot down here, right?
You bet.
And what about those elements? You brought up the battery. It's a very good point. We have the state-of-the-art testers now to where I can tell you the state of health of that battery.
Right.
And that battery is
in 30 seconds.
Right. Is it getting
right?
Is it in good health or is it in bad health?
Right.
Or is it weak? Those are the things that we can tell you, because that way you can make an informed decision back to putting the customer in charge
Right.
of their car maintenance and car service.
Yep. Having low battery voltage and or the battery not being able to sustain a load, it overworks the alternator, which is what's charging your battery. And in hybrids, it's a completely different system. We won't even get into that. But at the end of the day, if you're going to see lights start to flicker or flash or whatever, well, the car started this morning, that doesn't mean it's going to start the next time.
That's exactly right.
When your cold cranking amps are supposed to be 750 to 950 cold cranking amps, and your battery only has 350 left in it, it's loading it down, and then your alternator is overworking to try to charge a dying battery.
Yeah.
It's like pumping blood into a dead guy and trying to revive it.
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about a little bit before, and that is proactive maintenance versus reactive.
Simple. You said it. It's a 5-minute test, 10-minute test, whatever it is. The bottom line is it's so simple. Just to go ahead and have that tested.
It's free. It's part of the inspection.
It is part of the inspection.
It's not like we charge you extra for load testing your battery. We're not trying to sell you a battery. We're trying to prevent you from having, being on the roadside in 120 degrees and sticking your thumb out or calling a wrecker. What's that going to cost you?
Exactly. Well, and the nice thing is, and that's why I think I really do appreciate this, Dave, very intelligent podcast. You know what I mean? Is
about
that
time you're on board. I'm liking it, Lee. I'm liking it. Gotta take you long to get on
We
board.
thought about, should we invite Lee or,
I sold that, didn't I?
But I mean, the things of which you speak are so vital. No, but
Can you tell my wife that?
Yeah.
you know what? Something else.
Bo's too smart for that.
Something else I want to point out is that I saw a survey some time ago, not really that long ago, but only about 20% of automotive shops use digital inspections.
Yeah.
Is that right? 20%?
Yeah.
See, I've never seen that statistic.
I mean,
I think it's
you have an 80% chance of not getting one, and you're taking some guy's word for it. And if business is slow, they may try to sell you stuff that you don't need because it keeps everybody on the up and up.
Yeah, it does. Well, the nice thing about it is those things, then we retain that so that the next time, you know what I mean, something comes in, your car comes in, you can do a comparative. You know what I mean? That really is such a valuable tool.
Well, it's nice to look back in there. And, we operate our businesses pretty much the same. And the thing of it is our business model is set up to do these digital vehicle inspections. And it's back to the thing where you see on TV, you hear in the radio, 10-minute oil change, 10-minute oil change, 15-minute oil change.
Yeah.
Well, that's not our business model. Our
Right.
business model is just to do complete auto repair and to make sure that your vehicle is.
Can I simplify that?
Sure.
You said this before, and I really, really, I love it because it is what we stand for, and that is, with a digital vehicle inspection, we've got our customers back. When you go through for the quickie run-throughs, they don't have your back.
No, their idea
They're
is
doing.
they're seeing how many, if they can run 100 cars a day through their bays.
They're exchanging a service for dollars.
Yeah.
That's not what we do.
Yeah.
We've got our customers back because what we're trying to do is make sure that we can head off any kind of, problems, headaches, occurrences. You don't want to have any of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we can alleviate those, which we can in a lot of cases, no such thing as crystal balls, but cars will talk to you if you just literally observe them and look at them, and then we can help, you know what I mean, avoid some of those, pitfalls along the way.
Well, guess what?
Time's up.
I know our producer just gave me another statistic here.
Oh my.
It's estimated that about 25% or more of the shops still use handwritten for vehicle inspection and check-ins.
Oh.
And
You want to read my handwriting.
But you know what? Boy, thank God for that. Thank God. And nobody has to read my handwriting or I have to read theirs. That is amazing because you're 100% right about that. And that's one thing digital vehicle inspections has helped. But we still, like a customer will say, hey, I just had my car over, somebody's shop and they'll bring in the receipt and it's all handwritten. And you're just like, holy smokes, man.
I can't interpret hieroglyphics.
You know what? And that really is the case. And that's really also the disconnect. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful that they're doing them. To be truthful with you, let's give credit where credit's due. They're trying to do something, and the next obvious step for them would be to graduate into the digital vehicle inspections. The nice part about it is they're trying, you know what I mean? But when you have the tools that are available, like you're talking about, Glenn, having the right equipment, you know what I mean, to be able to take care of your customer is really, really vital. I mean, we have to invest in tools on the daily, you know what I mean?
And one thing I want to say is Glenn brought up this point earlier about fleets, and we all deal with some fleets.
You bet.
We all have some fleets that are clients of ours, and I know you guys have said this before the podcast started, and we've talked about this. You guys have said that the fleet managers love those digital vehicle
Absolutely,
because it gives them a picture, a window of where their vehicles are. And you said it, and we've all said it. The thing of it is when that car comes back the second time, we can look back on those pictures and go, okay, it was not in this condition the last time it was in.
Right.
Now it's in this condition. What happened?
Right.
And we can learn from it, and we can figure out maybe more of their driving habits. Because let's face it, they go through drivers. They got different drivers, and everybody has a different driving habit. So
what do the drivers tell them? Oh, it's perfect, man. I don't know what happened.
It's like your kids when you come home and something's broken. You're like, what happened? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Right. And I'm just like, I only had one kid, and I still stuff broke around my house, and nobody knew what happened.
Nobody was here.
And oftentimes,
if you find that guy, I want to see. I want to see him.
Well, with the fleet manager, I mean, you have a fleet manager who's here local.
Yeah.
But he may not be mechanically savvy, and at the end of the day, many of those fleet management companies, there's someone above them who actually says yes or no, and these are fleet men. These people are experts.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what they do for a living. They analyze
most of MASC certified master technicians.
Yeah, and they want to know what happened, what's going on, what it needs, and so on. And the digital inspection eliminates 90% of the conversation. Here's the vehicle. Here's what it has. Here's what you see. What you see is what you get. And you get a yes a lot quicker, which helps us expedite getting that vehicle back, because fleets are super important, because these plumbers and electricians and air conditioning companies and everything.
Medical. You had something on your social media about you're working on a medical. How important is that? These people are out there, trying to help other people that are having medical problems, and they need these vehicles on the road. You couldn't have said that better.
Well, and to circle back with what I think we started out in the beginning, and what I really believe is the reason why these things have become so important is because it's all about the buying decisions. It's all about saving money. Guys and ladies and anybody that has a vehicle, when you are in the know and you are in control, you're enabled, to be able to make good decisions when you have a full picture. You know what I mean? We make bad decisions if we don't really have the full pictures. But if we have a full picture and we know, hey, this is what's going on, this is what you can anticipate, this is about how long this might last, this is what needs to be done now. Boy, you can really make good decisions to prolong the life of your vehicle and really get about safely, which is what we all want. You know what I mean? And I think that is the part with digital vehicle inspections that enable the consumer, all right, to take charge, be proactive, you know what I mean, and really avoid a lot of the things that could occur and does occur on an everyday life in cars, you know what I mean, because...
Absolutely. And the thing about the digital inspections, the companies that have really good programs, there's green, yellow, and red.
Right.
If it's green, it's good. If it's yellow, it's not. It may go for a while, but we'd recommend maybe doing it now or next month, or as soon as you can, put the money together, whatever your next paycheck or something. It's not critical, like you're not going to go have a wreck, but it said this needs, immediate attention. This needs attention, and this is stuff that's good to go till your next visit. We re-inspect it, and that's the cool thing about the digital inspection. It gets done every time.
You bet.
It's not like, we do it once a year, we do it once every 2 years. No, every time that customer comes
every
in.
visit. Yeah.
And even if they come in a month later, we still do what we call a quick one.
We do too.
And we revisit from the last one to see if there's been any furtherance. Yeah, it's a safety thing, because ultimately you are relying on us for the safety of your vehicle, your family,
professional.
Your grandchildren, whatever, we are the ones that are ultimately responsible. We're the ones who touch your vehicle and keep everything intact.
And we take that very seriously.
We absolutely do.
Hey guys, this has been a great podcast, and I love talking about DVI. I mean, you guys almost convinced me that DVI doesn't stand for Dave's Very Intelligent, but I'm still pushing for that movement.
Good luck.
And I'm working on that. And we'll keep moving forward. It's always great to see you guys.
It's good to see you too, Dave.
And we are looking forward to talking to you and you seeing us on our next podcast. Thanks
Be good.
for coming.
Absolutely.
Be safe.
Have a great one, guys.
Bye-bye.